Well, today we're going to be talking about the psychic attributes, also known as the psionics here. And yes, this is kind of getting into the pay-to-win whale territory. But even if you have a couple of these cubes, putting them into this is actually going to be a really good idea. Now, I'm not going to lie, I looked at this and I said, I probably already know how this works, but going into this, I realized what an idiot actually I was, because there's a lot of stuff I actually didn't know about this. The first thing you need to know is if you do have an SS piece of gear, you go and start pumping into this, and let's say you want to revert back to an S gear. Going and creating that SS gear again, you'll still retain all these psionic stats. Even better, if you're like me where I have two SS weapons, going and slotting the other weapon will still hold those attributes. It's going to actually hold to the slot versus holding to the weapon. Which means if you go and roll on this and land a stat that you like, you might want to move on to one of the other 4 loadouts and start building on those, and the fact that we can switch these things around. Now in this one, there is only 4 attribute slots on it, and it takes about 200 of these divine cubes to go and unlock all 4 of them. And the highest skill rarity that's in here is going to be Immortal, and to go and get to that point of unlocking it, it took me about 900 of these cubes to finally reach that point. Now, even as you increase the level of your attributes and unlock those higher rarities, it's still only going to cost 1 divine cube to go and keep on rolling. However, when you want to go and start locking these and saving stats, it's going to increase the amount of divine cubes. There's no Everstones on this, so if you do have 3 of the 4 slots locked, that's technically going to cost you 4 divine cubes to make a roll. But don't worry, that whole level meter up top there isn't going based by how many times you roll on this thing, it's going based by how many divine cubes you use. So with it being about 200 to go and unlock that 4th slot and about 900 to get to those immortal stats, you're probably saying, man, that's going to be a lot just for the weapon, and now I got to do this for the armor and when they come out with rings and accessories. Well, by going over to the armor now, you can see I'm still holding that attribute level. So if I go and get to that 200 rolls on it there, or 200 divine cubes, automatically all of my gear that I have that can be SS is going to go and retain all 4 of those levels. So even though these things can be expensive, that's at least something that's working in our favor, because let's be honest, the devs could have made each individual piece of slot there where we needed to go and roll 200 or 900 of these things to get those premium stats. Just keep in mind that this is only for the SS gear, so if you get those attributes, you go and drop down to the S gear or just swap it in our S gear, you won't be seeing those stats. They won't actually apply to it until you reslot an SS gear. As far as the skills that's inside this, still pretty similar to what we would see inside our pet builds on it. I mean, you can see here combo damage reduction, global HP, lightning damage reduction. One thing that I did notice that was different is I'm in the armor one right now, and I'm just only seeing a whole bunch of global HP. I did not see that at all when I was slotted in the weapon side, which was giving me a whole bunch of global attack. So it seems like based by the gear slot that you're in, you're going to be seeing a little bit of different stats. So where if I went over and rolled on the weapon side, it's going to be more focused on the damage, and if I go over to the armor side, it's going to be more focused on the reductions. As of right now, we only have the weapon and the armor as the 2 things we can go and make SS gear, so really 120 cubes are all you really need in this game for going and getting them to SS gear, and the fact that we can kind of go and do a revert back down and get all those cubes back. Not sure how long it's going to be before we see the rings and the accessories, but this kind of opens up some opportunities that if you do happen to have 120 by spending money on the game, then you could probably come over here and at least roll a couple of stats to increase your CP a little bit. Oh, and just to avoid any confusion at all, I did not go and drop thousands of dollars on these divine cubes. This is inside the test server here where they kind of freely gave us a whole bunch of this to go and do some testing with. Still, on my main account, I think I have 5 of these divine cubes left over, and I'm kind of holding out on them. I feel iffy about doing this because I don't know when that accessory and ring stuff is going to come out, but I think I might have to actually just bite the bullet on this one and go and start pulling these. But if you're sitting there wondering about this SS gear and want to know how good the Elorian sword is once you go and throw some arcanas on it, I took mine to 8 stars, and this video right here will kind of show how well it's doing. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.